With me is Stefaan Poortman from the Global Heritage Fund. Stefan's the International Development Manager for a company an organization that probably many of you have never heard of before, but it does hugely important work. The conference, the World Travel and Tourism Summit here in Las Vegas this year, is about sustainability and economic development through tourism. And the Global Heritage Fund plays an integral part of that globally, and it has major investment aspects that most people may not know. So, Stefan, tell us a little bit about the Global Heritage Fund.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Global Heritage Fund is an 8-year-old nonprofit. We're based in California, and we're focused on the sustainable preservation of World Heritage sites in developing countries. We currently have projects in 12 countries. We're about a $5 million fund that we raise in the U.S. as well as in Europe. And then we also raise about another matching $5 million a year in the countries where we work. We believe that heritage is a severely underfunded industry, and we believe that heritage sites and heritage assets, while being very important, particularly to global travel and tourism, see very little investment in terms of their conservation or preservation.
What do you consider a huge, and you have many projects going on around the world, but tell us about 2 or 3 that are sort of different from one another and diverse yet important to you.
Sure. Our biggest project is in Guatemala. It's a new 800,000 acre national park. It's on the border with Mexico. It's called Mirador. It's 26 pre-classic Maya cities that are larger, each one of them, than Tikal, and earlier as well. So this is an integrated heritage and environmental project where we're trying to preserve not only the historical assets, but also try and save some of the rainforest that exists there and work with some of the communities. A very different project is at Pingyao in China. It's an ancient walled city. It was the original banking capital of China. Probably has about 1 million visitors a year, but again, very little funding for preservation. Most of the visitors are there only for about 1 or 2 hours, so there's very little in the form of revenue capture or income diffusion for that community. So we're working not only with the Shaanxi government, but also the municipal government as well as the national government to try and get visitors to stay longer, build out some of the assets that are there. Thirdly, another project that is very much in the news these days is Cyrene in Libya. It's the largest Greek site outside of Greece. Libya obviously has been closed off for the last 30 years with the embargo, and travel and tourism was on the upswing there until some of the conflict that they've had. Their budget to take care of one of the most priceless sites in northern Africa was about $30,000 a year before we were involved.
Very interesting, because it's all news to me, and I'm sure to many of our listeners. What's on the horizon for the next 12 months, and what can the travel and tourism business worldwide do to engage with you?
Well, I think the reason that I'm here and the reason that I'm trying to engage more with travel and tourism, and we are as an industry, is that, as I mentioned, heritage is very underfunded. If you look at probably the top 5 environmental organizations in the world, they're probably putting out about $1.5 billion a year. If you look at heritage, including UNESCO World Heritage Center in Paris, the World Monument Fund, the Getty, the Aga Khan, we're talking about $150 million a year. So the investment in heritage versus environment is very small. We are looking over the next 12 months to build on, we held a forum at Stanford called Cultural Heritage in the Developing World last October. We'll have another forum in London this October. And one of our core strategies over the next 12 months is how can we really build a global movement? How can we get more people involved and interested in heritage? Travel and tourism is obviously very interesting because a lot of people visit these sites. We, in our outreach to the corporate sectors, have had some success with global banking and obviously with extraction, oil and gas, are in a lot of the regions that we're in. Travel and tourism has been somewhat lagging up till this point. And so we're here to see if we can talk to some of the CEOs, the chairmen that are here, and really see how we can build further engagement with them, also with the customers, to really not only increase global awareness, but increase investment into these sites.
And then what would you consider a win in the long term?
A win for us really is a site that is sustainable on its own, in the sense that the funding that's coming into sites the revenue rather that's coming into sites from ticket receipts, concessions, these kind of things, is able to support not only the ongoing conservation and preservation of these sites, but also to provide employment, income opportunities for the communities that live around them, so that you create really a sustainable scenario for the site and for the local communities as well. Where we're also looking to build further success is to engage in-country nationals in the countries that we're working in to get more involved in their heritage and their preservation. So working with leading businessmen in Guatemala or Colombia or China and India to form a national heritage association of leading businessmen, companies that can really get involved and invest into these sites. If you look at a country like Peru that is so well known for Machu Picchu, there are probably 30,000 registered archaeological sites in Peru and another 30,000. Here in the U.S. we have the National Trust. In England you have English Heritage. In Peru you don't have a private sector organization that takes care of heritage, and that's what we're hoping to help facilitate and get going.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a complete color booklet here from the Global Heritage Fund that is available, and that you can tell they do hugely important work. So.